They say you can activate your pineal gland in minutes. Just listen to a frequency, eat a plant, try a hack, and boom, your third eye blasts open. But let's ask the real question. Is it true? Or is this just another trend selling shortcuts to enlightenment? Because here's what they don't tell you: instant activation. It's possible, but it's not what you think. This isn't about magic. This is about memory, about tuning into something that's been buried, blocked, and distorted. And when it opens too fast, without the inner groundwork, it can break you before it frees you. So in this video, we're going deep, past the myths, past the trends, into the real frequency science behind your pineal gland, and what actually happens when you try to force it open. Because this isn't just about awakening, it's about what it costs. Ready to find out if these instant methods are a gateway or just a glitch? Everyone wants activation, but no one wants preparation. You've seen it. Listen to this frequency for 10 minutes. Eat this ancient herb. Binaural beats that unlock your third eye instantly. They sound powerful. They feel mystical. But ask yourself, if it were that easy, why does the world still feel so asleep? Because here's the hard truth. Most instant activations are surface-level simulations. They light up the senses, not the soul. They trigger effects, not evolution. They offer the illusion of progress without the process. Why? Because it sells. Because the ego loves speed. Because if you promise people a gateway without struggle, they'll click, they'll buy, they'll follow. But true activation, it's not a playlist. It's a rewiring. It involves facing shadow, purging fear, realigning your nervous system to handle more voltage than it's used to. See, the pineal gland isn't just a button you push. It's a circuit that activates when your body, mind, and energy are coherent. And forcing that circuit with artificial stimulation is like sending a lightning bolt through a broken wire. It doesn't awaken you, it fries you. That's why some people come out of these trends feeling disoriented, anxious, detached from reality, because they cracked open a door they weren't ready to walk through. But here's the twist. That doesn't mean it's fake. It means it's realer than you were told. You can trigger the process quickly, but sustaining it, that's where the real work begins. And if you're serious about this path, you won't settle for sparks. You'll want fire. So what happens when one of these methods actually works? You hear the tone, feel the pressure in your forehead, maybe a sudden jolt, a surge in your spine, a rush of emotion, a vivid dream, a moment where time stretches or disappears completely, and in that instant, you know something real just happened. But instead of peace, you feel panic. Instead of clarity, confusion. Instead of awakening, disruption. Why? Because real pineal activation doesn't show you what you want to see. It shows you what's been hidden, and it does it fast. Old trauma surfaces, your body shakes, your relationships feel foreign. Your mind tries to label it as anxiety, but deep down you know it's not fear. It's the frequency of truth trying to land in a system that wasn't ready for it. This is why it's not just about activation, it's about integration. You need a nervous system strong enough to hold the signal, a heart open enough to process what you see, a mind disciplined enough not to spin stories around the unknown. Because when the pineal opens suddenly, it rips through your illusions. And if you're not ready, you'll try to close it back down. So here's your choice. Do you keep dabbling with tools that scratch the surface, or do you commit to the real work of remembering? Because there's a frequency inside you that doesn't just decode the illusion, it overwrites it. And if you want to access it, not just once, but sustainably, you need to build the vessel to hold it. So if you're ready to stop chasing shortcuts and actually unlock your signal, subscribe, hit the bell, because what's coming next isn't just activation, it's full-body, system-wide alignment. Let's get something straight. The pineal gland isn't some spiritual metaphor. It's a biological device wired for signal. Inside its tiny structure are piezoelectric crystals, yes, real ones, that can convert pressure into electrical energy. They react to vibration, to sound, to light, to intention. This isn't guesswork, it's physics. It's It's ancient anatomy repackaged as mysticism because they didn't want you to know you came built to tune into the invisible. Here's how it works. Your pineal sits in the geometric center of your brain, bathed in cerebrospinal fluid, a liquid that acts like an antenna when it vibrates. That fluid resonates with your breath, your heartbeat, and even solar and lunar cycles. In short, your body is a cosmic receiver, not symbolic, literal, and when aligned, it can pick up more than just emotions or thoughts. It can access frequency data that exists beyond 5 senses. That's why sound baths, light therapies, sacred breathwork, all exist. They don't create visions. They activate your built-in tech to see what's already there. But here's the problem. Most people are running on outdated software, years, decades of toxic input, heavy metals, trauma, overstimulation. The circuitry is there, but the system's lagging, corrupted, jammed with static. So when people try to force activation with external hacks, it's like throwing a quantum file into a glitching hard drive. The result? Short circuits, mental spirals, spiritual disconnection disguised as downloads. That's why ancient initiates spent years purifying the body, aligning breath, studying light, preparing the field, before activation ever occurred. Because the real frequency hack isn't outside you. It's inside the way you breathe, eat, think, feel, and most of all, focus. The fastest way to activate your pineal gland isn't to do more. It's to remove everything that's jamming the signal. And then, with nothing left in the way, you begin to receive, not just flashes of insight, but streams of encoded knowing. You don't awaken because of the hack. You awaken because you remembered how to listen. Let's talk about the business of awakening. Ever wonder why there's a new third eye hack every month? Why frequencies are bundled into apps? Why breathwork is being repackaged like it's a fitness fad? Because when they realized they couldn't suppress the awakening forever, they chose the next best thing. Commercialize it, turn it into trends, bite-sized, shareable, safe, make awakening feel like a lifestyle, not a revolution. And it worked, for a while. But here's the thing, you can't sell someone their own blueprint. You can't mass market a transmission that was encoded in your DNA. The real pineal activation is not content. It's not experiential. It's existential. It tears you apart, rebuilds your sense of time, melts your ego structure, rips you from the collective illusion. How do you monetize that? You don't. So they give you versions, instant euphoria, dopamine floods, visual flashes, just enough to keep you hooked, never enough to make you sovereign. Because sovereignty doesn't sell, dependence does. So instead of guiding people through inner transformation, they sell shortcuts. Third eye detox kits, quantum downloads, DNA activation frequencies, all of it wrapped in beautiful visuals but empty of integration. And integration, that's the part they leave out. Because if you really integrated the light, you wouldn't need them. You wouldn't buy another course. You wouldn't follow another guru. You'd become the field. And the Matrix doesn't like that, because a society full of fully activated individuals can't be governed through fear, can't be sold solutions to problems they no longer believe in, can't be distracted by the performance of truth when they've already become the source of it. So what do? They make awakening feel like a trend, make it look edgy, make it feel cool, and then strip it of its power. Because if they can turn your birthright into content, they win. But here's the paradox. The more they sell the surface, the more people start digging. Some of you are feeling it. You bought the frequency, listened to the playlist, did the meditation, and still felt empty. That's not failure. That's your authentic blueprint, rejecting the simulation. That's your system whispering, you're not here to chase light, you're here to become it. And no one can sell you that, but you can activate it from the inside out. No more theories, no more hype. Let's talk about what it actually feels like when the pineal gland activates for real. It doesn't feel like peace, not at first. It feels like a rupture. You could be meditating, or lying still, or just breathing deeply with intention. Then, a subtle shift, pressure, right behind your forehead. Not pain, but presence, like something ancient is trying to push through. Then comes the hum, high-pitched, electric, internal. It's like a like a sound, not from your ears, but from inside your bones. And suddenly, your inner space stretches. You feel yourself leave your body without moving an inch. Time slows, or it disappears. You're not hallucinating, you're perceiving layers. Your thoughts are no longer yours. They're part of a larger stream, a current you're now inside, downloading, feeling, decoding, all at once. Then come the flashes, images, symbols, light so pure it blinds the mind. It might be geometric, it might be formless, it might feel like your whole body is vibrating in code. Some cry, some shake, some laugh uncontrollably, some go silent for hours after, because when the gland opens, it doesn't just give you visions, it recalibrates your entire nervous system. Your sense of space warps. You can feel the weight of people's energy from across a room. You can smell emotion, hear patterns, see truth written into light. You start to dream with your eyes open. You begin to remember lives that aren't past. They're parallel. You realize time is not linear. You're not human with a spirit. Your spirit choosing to be human in this exact moment. And when that hits you, the fear comes. Because now you know, there's no going back. You can't unsee, you can't unfeel, you can't pretend this world is what they said it was. You've breached the veil, and it's not some fairy tale. It's electric, it's visceral, it's irreversible, and no one told you how real it would feel, how physical, how loud, how terrifyingly liberating. You sit there, afterward, changed, and the silence isn't empty, it's pregnant with everything. You've touched something that doesn't speak in words, doesn't beg to be proven, doesn't need belief, it just is. If you've come this far, you already know the truth can't be unseen. But now it's time to face what nobody warns you about. You've become the signal. You are no longer here to consume frequencies. You're here to generate them. And the pineal gland? It was never just a viewer, it's a transmitter. You feel it now, don't you? You walk into rooms and the energy bends. You meet people and feel their truth before they speak. Synchronicities multiply, not because you're lucky, because your field is online. You're no longer seeking light, you're releasing it from your own system, and that changes everything. You can't lie to yourself anymore. You can't force yourself to stay in environments that vibrate below your truth. Your very presence now acts as a tuning fork, exposing what's real and what's false without saying a word. People feel you. They can't explain it, but they know something's different. You are vibrating beyond language, and it's not just spiritual, it's scientific. Your heart emits electromagnetic fields measurable up to 8 feet from your body. Your thoughts ride waves. Your emotions encode your frequency. And when your pineal is awake, you are tuned to a channel the matrix cannot scramble. You're not just awake, you're active. You don't just sense truth, you broadcast it. You don't just question illusion, you dismantle it with your presence. This is what they feared, a population of beings not ruled by fear, but guided by inner resonance. People who don't need external validation because they're self-sourcing light. And now that you know what you are, what will you do with it? Because the frequency you emit is now writing the world around you. You are either echoing the old system or building the new one with your signal. The next phase isn't more learning, it's more emitting. No more hiding, no more hesitation, no more pretending you're still asleep just to fit into a dream that was never yours. You're not a seeker anymore. You're the beacon. You're not waiting for the shift. You are it. You've heard the tones. You've felt the pressure. You've seen the flashes behind closed eyes. You've remembered that this isn't just a gland. It's a gate. You've crossed it. And now you know. This was never about the pineal. It was about you, the signal, the antenna, the node in the network of waking souls. You are no longer the one trying to figure it out. You are the one broadcasting clarity. Everything they told you was woo-woo. It's science in its rawest, most sacred form. Everything they said was dangerous. It was threatening only to the systems built on keeping you numb. And now that you're awake, you have a responsibility. Not to preach, not to prove, but to hold frequency, to move in alignment, to speak when it resonates, to stay silent when it transmits more. You are no longer in the crowd. You are part of the current, and what you do from here ripples out into your people, your field, your timeline. So I'll leave you with this. If your signal shapes reality, what are you transmitting, even when you say nothing at all? Drop it in the comments. Let the next wave feel your frequency, and if you're ready to activate even deeper layers, the next video is already waiting. You've seen the door. Now walk through it, not as a seeker, but as a source.